How you doing? Hey Andrew, how's it going? I see you over in the chat. Yeah. Not good, huh? Oh, not bad. Wow, we have a lot of guests over here today, right, Don?
Yep, it's starting to fill up fast. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It's our pleasure to welcome you to our third industry panel discussion on how can artificial intelligence help forwarders, brought to you by RW Solutions. RW Solutions is headquartered in Hong Kong and currently have 9 freight forwarding networks that are into industry niches. RW networks are very much focused on handling capabilities of forwarders, from pharma, perishables, NVOCC, and FCL to geographic interests like Africa, Middle East, and Latin America. By having specialized groups, members engage in more meaningful business exchanges with more qualified networking across their various brands. At present, we have over 900 members from 100 countries under the RW umbrella. Today's program will last about 1 hour, and at this time, we would like to open up the microphone to our audience to get to know all of you a little bit better for about 5 minutes so that our speaker can understand who their audience is. So in this segment, you will be called out, and please unmute yourself and introduce yourself by mentioning which company and country you are from, what time it is where you are, and why you are excited to be part of this panel discussion. So let's start things off with Andrew from Montreal. Are you there?
Yes, I am. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. It's 11 a.m. here. A nice sunny and shiny day. Anxious to hear what people have to say today. And I'm also looking forward to the TFS Dubai trip, which is only 8 days away. I'm very happy to say that I'll be attending with a big smile.
Excellent. What do you know about AI? Anything?
Well, we have e-commerce website. That's one of the things we have as a niche as a forwarder.
Mhm.
So we try to use it as much as possible, and it's the way to go in the future. But I'm going to leave it to the panel to discuss today. I'm not going to hog the channel this time.
Sure, of course. All right, so let's go ahead and move around the room here. David Cook, are you here?
I am indeed, yes. Hello from sunny Barcelona. Hi, Andrew. Hi, the rest of you. I'm David Cook from Security Cargo Network. I know some of AI's potential and whatever, but I'm interested to hear what people to say about it and its potential for forwarding. And see what the people can say then.
All right, what time is it there in Barcelona?
It is 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're almost coming towards the end of our day. Only 3 or 4 hours left.
All right. Well, there's definitely siesta in the middle of that, isn't there?
Well, that used to happen. It doesn't seem to happen around here.
Doesn't happen anymore.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it's like in the agriculture part of Spain in the south, yes, certainly, but like not so much around here, to be honest with you. It's not much. Not a habit I've been allowed to get into.
All right, copy that. All right, let's go around the room again. Is the Shumaila Umar, are you here? Shumaila?
Shumaila's talking, but it's on mute.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
There you go. Hi, Shumaila.
Hello. I'm from Pakistan. I'm Shumaila, and I'm representing United Global. And I'm forwarded to, I'm sales manager. And here it's 8 p.m. So I just want to learn from your all experiences.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Can we look, let's look here. How about Kristina Homolova? Are you there?
Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, I'm here. My name is Kristina Homolova. I'm working from ABC. And our headquarters is located in Austria. So yeah, I'm working there. And yeah, I'm here actually to learn something new from you because it's a very interesting topic. So I hope I can add some insights as well.
Great. Thank you for joining us, Kristina. And one last person we can talk to before we get started with our speakers. Wellington Jackson, are you there? Wellington Jackson, are you present at the moment? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to someone else then. How about Christophe Verazels? Or perhaps Stefan Haltmeyer.
Hello. Sorry.
Oh, there's Christophe. Okay, thank you. Hi, Christophe.
Sorry, just with my square fingers, I needed to unmute myself. Hi
sure,
to everyone.
No problem.
Greetings from London, VIP Freight, and looking forward to hearing what you guys have to tell us about AI. As no, I don't really know where AI can fit in our systems. So that is definitely going to be something interesting.
It sure will be, and we're about to find out. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and introduce our speaker? All right, so our speaker today is King Alandi D. He is the consultant of Logistics AI, which is an artificial intelligence solutions provider to help forwarders automate their processes. He leads a team that is driving a new approach to the benefits of supply chain technology and the optimization of global freight forwarding. King is a former researcher from Stanford University and comes from a family in cross-border logistics. He ran an international import-export business while graduating from Stanford with an engineering degree. Today, our main topic is how can artificial intelligence help forwarders? Before we proceed, may I request you all to switch into the side-by-side speaker screen. We have prepared 6 questions for this topic, but let me start with the first one. What is artificial intelligence, King?
All right, that's a really good question. I mean, I won't be getting too technical in the details of what artificial intelligence is, but what I think the best way to describe what AI is by describing how different it is from automation solutions before, right? So there's a few key differences between AI today and the previous forms of automation that we've had, maybe like RPA and OCR, right? AI is context driven. So that's the first thing. What do I mean by context driven? You don't have to make things explicit in the sense that, let's say you have a new type of freight document, right? Especially with these BLs, these AP invoices, these arrival notices, all of these documents, they have completely different formats, right? Every single shipper, every single forwarder wants to have their own template for their, or format for their documents, right? And if you were using automation technology before, like OCR or RPA, you'd have to invest a lot of time into setting up templates, or explicitly saying, oh, if the document is from this vendor or from this customer or partner, then everything in this small box here is the shipper name. Everything in this small box is the the date of arrival. And then if the format slightly changes, the automation is completely broken. So the difference today is that doesn't have to be the case anymore. AI can be context driven. It actually understands everything else inside the document, and that's why it's able to make decisions without too much hand-holding from humans, right? It's not as fragile in a sense. Mm-hmm. Now, the second thing, which also goes under that, right? If you don't have to explicitly describe every little thing, well, that's sort of why a lot of people didn't do automation before, right? Because it's so hard to onboard, it's so hard to set up. Today, AI technology can understand from the get-go, doesn't need to have a lot of manual work to set things up. I guess the other key thing, right, that at least I've seen being in the AI space for a while now, again, just to give context to everyone, I did some AI research at Stanford back then. The trend was really general AI models. So sort of like, oh, I'm going to make one AI model or one bot which just pulls data from invoices really well, right? But today, it's gotten really verticalized, right? Where we have bots that are specialized specifically for freight AP invoices or freight commercial invoices, right? And that's allowed us to drive significantly more accuracy without all the manual work of setting things up. And yeah, again, that just to sum things up, that's really the difference. OCR and RPA are only helpful to the extent which they were programmed, right? It's very like monkey see, monkey do. Well, with AI, it's understanding more pieces of information that you don't explicitly tell it to understand, right?
It just automatically gets it from the get-go already. That's just how it's already programmed that way to understand. Boy, it's amazing.
Exactly. And I guess to share a bit about the relevance of this, Don, right? Mm-hmm. We have nowadays, I'm sure the crowd will agree, some crazy spot rates occurring within the industry, a lot of edge cases, right? And for example, when our vendors are, especially the carriers, when they're throwing these crazy spot rates all the time via email, it's hard for a human operator even to look at the emails, cross-reference everything. AI allows us to stay consistent and really track everything, right? So
So
that-
less things get missed in that
Exactly.
situation, less
It
human
really
error.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Another relevant point is that, according to Business Insider, 4 out of 10 logistics executives have been using AI to offload their customer service and operations to make up for, the revenue losses that may be happening for some businesses. And automating all of this really helps your business increase margins by, at the minimum, 5%.
Mhm. Can you get into the specific applications of AI in logistics and the logistics industry? Okay, so we move on to question 2, basically.
Absolutely, I'm happy to do so. So, I'm actually a consultant for logistics AI. Oh, could we move to the second question, please?
Yeah, the second slide, please. Thank you.
Right. So how can artificial intelligence be used in the logistics industry? Well, as a consultant of logistics AI, what they have is, they're pulling data from all of these freight documents, right? Regardless of the format, even if you've never seen it before, you're able to pull that data and actually automate the end-to-end process. So some examples are, you just send logistics AI the document, and they'll do the end-to-end shipment creation, console creation. You got amendments, no problem. Just forward that to the AI and it will update it. Entering data, right, for customs, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some crazy commercial invoices in my time, like 20, 30 page commercial invoices, hundreds of line items.
And these are non-standard, like they're all non-standardized documents that have all different types of formats, might even be different, like Word files, PDF files, could be all sorts of things, right?
Exactly, Don. And it's really crazy how today a lot of businesses are putting their logistics experts in their team forward and asking them, hey, manually transcribe this into my system so I can track it, right?
Wow.
And so logistics AI is here to change that. I guess some other processes that logistics AI is able to solve would be like AP reconciliation. So a big pain point for manual work today is when you have all of these accounts payable invoices, right? And you're busy looking through every single line item on that accounts payable invoice, reconciling it, right? Oh, does this match up with the rate sheet that I got? Does this data match up with what actually happened to the shipment, right? Like maybe my drayage provider is charging me, I don't know, 7 days of chassis fees when it should be 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
All of these are possible, but the AI is able to keep track of this at scale, while humans are easily fatigued.
So
right?
You can just simply ask a query and to the AI, and it would be able to discern what you're looking for based on that, basically.
It's I mean, you're not verbally asking it, right?
No, not verbally, but perhaps like like on a search bar, what is
yes, exactly,
like that.
That's
Wow.
exactly how it works. It's and there's already the dashboard set up. You can actually see some of these things queried automatically for you once you pull up that page. I'm sure the RW Solutions team could probably talk more about that. But
okay.
Maybe to share some more educational material, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some research that I've chanced upon is that some of the high impact areas in supply chain, right, are really about this planning, scheduling, forecasting, spend analytics. So for example, the president of CH Robinson, Mike Short, actually worked with their vendors and created this portal and invested in these AI models that allowed them to predict demand much more accurately, right? And so what's happening is we have these more medium-sized businesses, right, that aren't necessarily leveraging their data as well, while these large logistics juggernauts are all the way in the future where they're getting AI models predicting, forecasting, doing spend analytics, right? According to McKinsey, 53% of people report increased revenues as a direct result of introducing AI in the supply chain.
Wow. Wow. There you go. That kind of leads us into our third question and our third topic point here. So we can change, let's go ahead and change the slide here. How about mid-sized companies? How do they compete against the big multinationals? What kind of edge does AI give them? Can they basically be on the same level now and the same turf? Are they competing for the same clients now?
Yeah, no, this is a really good question, right? And I think with the rise of digital forwarders, even like Flexport, I mean, there's a lot of them, right? We've heard about them, Flexport, Convoy, yeah, and they're raising billions of dollars, right? Just by being a digital freight forwarder. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we also have, so we have the digital forwarders, we have the giant, multinationals. Then we also have the mid-size forwarders, right? The people who are really moving the most goods in the world, right? Together, right? If we combine it. And so historically, automation technology was something only the big players could afford, right? So for example, the C.H. Robinson example I shared, they were working on that years ago, right? It's something that only they could have. There's a lot of case studies online. You look at DHL, all of these big, massive freight forwarders, they're investing heavily in AI technology, right? And I think it was really difficult for most people to even have a structured source for their data, right? Like if I ask most freight forwarders, right, like, do you know maybe your profit sharing with every single one of your vendors? It's really hard to harness that data, right? And it's because we don't have access to the technology that enables this level of insight, right? But now I actually think there are a lot of new players that are changing this, and logistics AI is actually at the forefront of that change, right? Where they're really evening out the playing field between freight forwarders and large multinationals. I do have some examples. Do you think that would be helpful to share?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Yeah, so I do know that according to the Harvard Business Review, this is historically, large companies have been getting a lot more profitable, while the more medium ones, small ones, if you look at the proportion, they're becoming less profitable in the logistics industry. And the difference in profits was like 15% in the 1990s. Recently, it's around 35%, and this is rapidly increasing still, right? But
so what's the cause of this discrepancy, this divide between the two?
So the cause of the divide is really that, look, these massive corporations have the ability to throw, high capex, doesn't matter. They're gonna do it because they can play the long game because they have so much cash flow. Doesn't matter to them, right? What's $100 million to C.H. Robinson, right? It's nothing. Well, for most of us, it's quite a large sum, right? And so that's what's allowed them to really widen the gap, as you said, Don. And now we have, again, companies like Logistics AI to share a case study, right? Rose Container Line, a forwarder with around 100 employees in New York, was actually able to save over $500,000, $500,000, by identifying discrepancies, right? So this AI was able to identify discrepancies, assign them to people much better than a human would have.
Mhm.
And on top of that, we were able to help them reduce all their operating costs by 80%. Their
Wow.
cash flow cycle was even reduced significantly. And according to their VP, Lance Beresnoy, you guys can reach out to him. He's a huge fan of the Logistics AI service. There have been gains of at least $2,000 in additional revenue every month. And I asked him, how is this happening, right? And it's really because they've been able to improve the customer service significantly despite having a smaller team, because all of this manual work is getting automated away.
Mhm. Yeah, those are huge gains. Those are huge gains. So basically, yes, these mid-sized companies can definitely compete against the big multinationals, given if they are taking advantage of things like logistics AI.
Mhm.
So does this also help these companies scale up? I think we're already to question 5, I believe. Are we all the way up there already, King? I think so, because we already did some examples already.
Well, we can still do question 4, right? Like I can be more.
Yeah, we can do some more examples as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. But I do want to, before we move on to 4, let me leave with a stat, right, for number 3.
Sure.
And I think this relatable, especially for our North American and European forwarders, right? Demand's exceptionally strong, right? With import demand rising up to 50% last March, although forwarders' margins have been getting squeezed by these insanely high carrier rates and also shipper pushback, right? Like our customers are telling us, whoa, why is it suddenly so expensive? They're blaming us even if it's the carrier's fault, right? And it's really the lack of air and sea capacity that means that those freight forwarders that have the best access and visibility to capacity, those are the ones who are really prospering, right? And I think that's one of the main things that AI is able to drive.
Got it. Got it. So next question, can you give an example on industry-wide challenges that AI can help solve? So maybe how can AI help solve the problem you just mentioned, I suppose?
Absolutely. So I think, I'll focus more around better decision-making and cash flow management, right? So as I mentioned a while ago, the key thing is really giving you foresight, right? That's the biggest change that AI ML is able to impact. Like CH Robinson invested in ML models to predict future customer demand. It's really this act of investing into data. So some questions I have for the crowd, right? Like, do we have visibility into profit sharing with vendors? Do we know line item costs, in aggregate? Like, how much are you spending on those document handling fees? AMS ISF filings. Do we know that's for the US forwarders, by the way, but I mean, just generally, right? Do we know the line item costs? Do we know which vendors have the most discrepancies, right? When we go and end of quarter, we've reviewed our vendors' performance, right? And we're gonna go play golf with them. Are we just telling them, hey, give me a better rate? Or are we going up to them and showing them the numbers, right? And saying, hey, look, I have a list of these 50 invoices where you billed us incorrectly. We're friends. I understand logistics will always be relationship based, right? But at least we can pull this up and show that, right? And say, look, we need to work together to fix these things. And with solutions like Logistics AI, it's all there with a dashboard. You don't have to hire a bunch of analysts to pull all of this up manually.
But would you say it's absolutely key that what drives the AI is really the data that you collect And the more data you can throw at it, the better the AI will serve you, pretty much.
Yep, that's absolutely right, Don.
Okay, good to know. All right, so everybody, get all your data down, get it all down pat, so your AI can do the work for you. So let's go to question number 5 then. How can it help companies really scale their operations?
Right. So I do want to just add on something
Sure.
to what you said a while ago. You mentioned that, oh, let's have all the data down pat. And I think that's one of the biggest pain points, right? Like, look, we're freight forwarders, we're relationship builders, we're not data engineers, right? And I think that's the key differentiator of logistics AI versus all those other automation companies out there. Those automation companies or tech people coming into logistics saying, look, this looks like a big opportunity. Take this solution and, you know, fix your data. But the philosophy of logistics AI and, you know, why I really believe in its vision is because it's all about minimizing the work for the freight forwarder, right? Like, we want the freight forwarders to focus on their key competency, which is building relationships with customers, moving things, handling and triaging those exceptions, right? And logistics AI will take care of structuring all of that data for you. You don't even have to lift a finger. All you need to do is forward the documents you're already receiving, and, you know, it enters it into your TMS. It processes your AMS ISF filing. It does it all end to end for you. And, you know, you can focus on maybe the 10% of arrival notices that have disputes that are not ready to pay. And you need to talk to your partners about that, right? Or focus on those few shipments, right? Or that problematic vendor that's charging you way more than how much your expected charges are. So yeah, that's
so that the AI will conclude if there is a lack of information or if there's more information that's needed, in which case you'll just simply request for that information if it's lacking.
Yep, it'll automatically email you.
And it'll be like, oh, what's this? What's this? What's that? And then it'll and then what happens in the case where it's harder to find the information, if like you're asking for something that's specific but that can't be found? Are there solutions around that?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Logistics AI, we actually have a team of, again, logistics experts on our team who are double checking the output of the AI. So most technology companies are forcing you to do this, right? They're telling you, hey, you pay me, but you also improve my AI. But at Logistics AI, we say, no, stick to your core competency. We'll take care of, you know, shaping the AI, helping it improve, and you focus on delivering value, right?
Right. Cool. All right. So, all right, let's go on to the number 5 then. So can it help companies scale up?
So I'm just going to go off of a quote from one of our customers here. And I'm going to go on a direct quote. Joey Lim, director of MHM in Singapore. And this is a cargo-wise freight forwarder, a mid-sized cargo-wise freight forwarder. They said, Expedoc gave cost savings and increased our productivity by 30%, not even counting the increase in sales revenue. So not only were we able to, you know, eliminate 30% of their costs, that's just one tiny value add of AI, right? It's really allowing the entire business to operate much more efficiently. And so with them, we were able to increase that sales revenue. So I guess to share more about what really went on there, salespeople were hassled with operational work. They were reconciling data, chasing requirements from vendors and such. Expedoc automated all of this, freeing up their time so that they could focus on what really mattered most, which is their customer, right?
Yeah, and you know, maintaining those relationships in this business are important, and not getting bogged down in all of those details, the numbers, and the paperwork definitely makes you more efficient at the end of the day as a company.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Any other points that you want to cover, King?
No, that's it. That's it. I think we have a lot of comments on the chat, and we probably have some time to take those.
All right, so let's go ahead and take some questions
But
right now.
There's a sixth question, I think, on the slides.
Oh, okay. Yes, there is. How can we go about learning more about logistics AI?
Yeah, so feel free to just email, you can shoot a message to RW Solutions, or you could go to, the contact details are right there, logistics-outsourcing.com or ai.services@logistics-outsourcing.com. So think of it this way, it's like you're outsourcing the manual work, but to a robot instead of manual work.
All right. So if there's anybody who has any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box now, and we can ask King and get his answer on it. Let's see. Looking through some of the chat comments right now. Did you see any questions, King, on the chat group, on the chat here? Let's see. Do you work with systems?
Yes. So we're working, you work with systems. Yeah, so right now, the platform is built to integrate really well with CargoWise, right? So with CargoWise, we have the end-to-end reconciliation, shipment, creation, and such. Yes, we all hate CargoWise. But I think, yeah, maybe even worse than Maersk. I don't know, but I think that's the thing, right? It's really lacking in a lot of parts, but it's popular, and so we built on top of that as the initial platform, where we're really able to automate the end-to-end process, so that you barely have to touch CargoWise. All your data just appears there. Now there's some questions like Descartes. Yes, so we support other large systems as well. We don't have the full end-to-end process automated, but we are able to enter data into these systems. So that's Descartes, Magaya, and here we actually have a list of the systems that we're able to push data into, right? There's Descartes, IES, Catapult. Let's say you want to do a carrier booking through E2open. We can also export the data with a specific format. Let's say you have an in-house system or something like that. You can just pull the data from there. That said, the full end-to-end process is really around. If you want it end-to-end, it's CargoWise. Ooh, someone's asking for a WhatsApp group. Automation is not AI. Algorithms is not AI. Yes, Alexander, I absolutely agree with you. So that's sort of the point I've been trying to drive since the beginning, right? Where if you're just directly extracting data from documents, like very, in a rule-based way, that's not AI. But if you're throwing in a document, right, and it understands how to generate a carrier booking from that document, regardless of the format, now that is AI, right? Because it's using natural language processing to actually understand the different fields. And it's doing that to be able to automatically book that carrier for you, as an example.
That's an interesting distinction, actually, that it's not.
I mean, I can get more into it. Alexander, does that answer the comment? Only after you apply machine learning and natural language processing in time, you can let it use AI. Well, That's already what logistics AI is doing. So it is using natural language processing to be able to do this. Yeah.
Also, interesting question here. How secure is the AI data?
Right.
Is it
So
susceptible
how
to
secure
hacking or things of that nature?
Well, all of the data is stored through the most secure, Amazon Web Services. We have a team of engineers that's really double checking and ensuring that everything is completely secure. We comply with GDPR. We're going through our SOC 2 security clearance right now. SOC 2 I think is American. It's the equivalent of ISO certification, and it's the highest level of security certification globally, essentially. And another question is, can you please elaborate how the complies increase their profitability with the help of AI? Maybe how the companies increase their profitability. Oh, okay, right. So how are they able to increase their profitability? Well, there's two ways to increase profit. One, decrease cost. Two, increase revenue, right? So logistics AI helps do both because we're driving down the cost by eliminating the manual work that your team needs to do, right? So if you want to decrease headcount, that's fine. But really, the point is so that they can focus on other work, right? And what is the other work? Doing customer service, making sure your customers are happy, and really building that relationship with them so that you can upsell these customers to more services.
Okay, so we have, I hate to be that guy, but do you have a price list if it is done through another system, or will that be done through the system provider?
So yes, we have, feel free to just reach out to the team, but we do have some prices, but we need to get a better understanding of what data your system needs to extract, right? But if it's a popular system, yes, we potentially have it. Feel free to just shoot us an email too.
Mm-hmm. And from Christoph, what about errors on customers' docs? Would AI be able to spot and return query for particular shipments? We even get old documents that are faded, which are even handwritten. Can AI actually understand those documents?
Wait, can I see that question? Oh, what errors on customer documents for particular shipments? You get old documents. Yes, totally understand what you're saying. Yeah, some of these documents get really messy. That said, maybe we should just send over a demo video to a lot of these queries, right? To actually give them a better understanding of what the platform does. That might be helpful. And yes, we are able to process old documents, faded documents. I've actually even tried it on documents with Chinese characters that they've put on top, with those crazy stamps. And then those BLs from China with these crazy stamps that like literally are covering the text. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, the AI model is still able to see it. Oh, do I have a short video? Can CW1 AI create customs deck? Yes, it can. Do I have a short video? Yes, I do have a short video that we can actually screencast. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, I'd be super interested in seeing how it works.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me try to get that here. Right. So I can do a live demo right now. this not expected, but you know, the crowd gets what they want, right?
That's right.
All right, so here I'm just gonna let me just log into CargoWise before we do some demos. But maybe you could share some other questions that we can discuss while I'm pulling up that demo.
Okay, sure. If we can have any more questions here, let's see.
Okay, I got one. How does blockchain technology go with AI? Right now, we don't use any blockchain, right? I know blockchain is extremely popular, but you know, a lot of times it's not about, hey, let's use the best, you know, the newest technologies, right? It's about when does the technology have practical applications for us? And that's when we start figuring out how to use it, right? Yeah, so we don't use blockchain, even if it is very popular nowadays. Right, so I'm gonna pull up specifically CargoWise here, right? I know that not everyone is on CargoWise, but unfortunately, that's the only thing I have on my computer right now. So here, I'm just gonna share my screen. All right, can everyone see my CargoWise program opened up right here?
Can see it.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna look for shipments, right? And so what I'm doing now, I'm sure all of you are experts in this, but and so you don't need me to explain, but I'm just gonna say it again just so everyone's on the same page. I'm doing AP invoice reconciliation, right? So we have some expected charges on this specific shipment. Now we're gonna go through this and actually look through the different line items, right? So we have 6 line items here. I'm gonna delete one of these expected charges, right? And just want to see if our AI can actually catch that, you know, it's missing a charge. So here I have the Expedoc platform. You don't need to upload it yourself manually, right? That's no problem. Basically, once you email it to us, it automatically extracts all that data already. So I'm uploading a clean invoice here. Totally understand everyone. I've, you know, my family business is in here, so I know how crazy documents get. I just don't have a dirty sample. If you want to get on a call with me and tell me, King, do a really terrible document in front of me right now, I'll do it for you. Just book some time with me. But here, I've uploaded a document, again, quite clean, but and you know, whether or not I've ever seen this format, we're able to pull the invoice number. You can see, for example, this invoice date. You know, this is where the understanding comes in, right? And again, there's no template that was set up here. The AI is just pulling it. It's saying, oh, okay, it's April 25, 2021. Let's rearrange that into the CargoWise format, no problem. You know, reference number, HBL number, MBL number, container number, voyage number, vendor. You know, we were able to get all of that data. Now, I think something people always complain about is the line items, right? Who hates labeling their charge codes manually? I do. Everyone does. And basically here, you know, to respond to someone who was saying, you know, is this really AI? Well, yes, it is, because we're labeling the charge codes, we're classifying it, right? And I understand, being from the industry, the charge description doesn't always say ocean freight, right? It might just say freight charges, or it would say ocean freight. Sometimes it even just says FRT charge. I don't know, all the labeling, all these charge descriptions just vary so much, right? But our technology labeled all these charge codes correctly. Again, this is based off of your charge codes. And that eventually, that allows us to visualize that for, create a dashboard, right? That says, oh, how much are we spending on these different line items and such. But basically, we've extracted the data, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reconcile this invoice, right? Is it actually correct? And we can do it as a lump sum. I know some people have that process, but for this example, let's do it by line item. There we go. And so the AI has identified, well, this one's more process based, right? The AI was more labeling the charge codes and such. Now, based on our automation, it says, okay, this doesn't match up. What's going on here? And for each of these things that don't match up, right? You don't have to worry about that. It just shows up on this dashboard where it says, okay, what are my AP invoices that have discrepancies? How much is this discrepancy? This is the the manager view, but we also have an operator view where you can actually assign different discrepancies to specific operators, right? Again, end of quarter, you want to review, hey, hold up, Freight Patrol is overbilling me a lot of times. Like, let's unpack that. Let me call my best friend Dan at Freight Patrol and give him this full list of AP invoices where Freight Patrol billed me too much, right? So that's what we're able to do here. Now let's say, okay, the expected charge, let's say, they added a cargo facility charge. It's $22. I don't want to strain my relationship with my vendor. Well, no problem, right? You just send an email, reply to the AI model that says, yes, I accept the charge, or you can say, just send to CW. Either way works. And right, per line item, let's send it. All right, and now I'm going to open that same shipment. Now you're probably asking me, wait, King, how is it filling this up? How's it gonna find it? Well, it's based off the reference number, shipment number, and BL. And so here, now, as you can see, I'm opening the billing tab, and there are now 6 line items again of charges. Right, and so that shows you how it works. And again, all this data appears on this dashboard over here. AP invoice was just my example. I'm happy to do demos, and we'll send videos as well of all the other types of reconciliation. We can do it for arrival notices. We can do it for others. That said, this full end-to-end automation, at least today, is just for CargoWise. For the others, we just push data into those popular systems, but eventually we'll be rolling all of this out as well.
All right, that was an excellent little demo you gave there, King. Why don't you go ahead and give your closing remarks for today, and say goodbye to all of the people in the crowd right now.
For sure. Thanks everyone for your time. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to chat. Just add me on LinkedIn, connect with me. I'm happy to respond there, or you could email us through the RW Solutions contact. And I'm happy to help build a customized solution for you guys, and really work with you to figure out, okay, how can we be better than the digital freight forwarders of today?
All right, great. Thank you so much, King, for your contribution to RW Solutions' third panel discussion. We really appreciate you making the time, and we would like to thank everyone that has attended today's panel discussion. Please be advised that we will have a once-a-month panel discussion to discuss interesting topics about our freight forwarding industry. Our next topic will be, how promising is Latin America for forwarders? That'll be on October 5, 2021. And the following topics for the rest of the year are: how do we make more air cargo space by air transshipments? This is on November 4, 2021. What are the opportunities for freight forwarders in Africa? On December 2, 2021. I hope that you guys had a great time, and thank you so much for attending. If you do have the chance, please do visit our RW website, where all our networks are showcased. You might be interested to join one of our networks moving forward, where we promote partnership networking amongst freight forwarders. We have also left you a poll, and if you could please take 2 minutes to fill it up, it'll be very helpful for us to improve our panel discussions in the future. Once again, thank you very much. My name is Don Puno. I was your host today. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Thank you.